We should be live. Fantastic. What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic live stream. It's been somewhat of a hectic week, without a doubt, personally, and then it also in the market has been fairly insane on some of the swings that we saw. Of course, coming in like that Wednesday, Thursday, if you remember, that we had that pretty substantial pullback at those levels. Just want to say hello to some folks within the chat here. I'm standing on my standing desk. I was told to stand more for some blood flow from my doctor. Anywho, so you're going to be seeing me moving around just a little bit. We got Alan, of course, showing up early. Thank you. Tony, what's up? Kev, what's up, my friend? Guru K, what's up? What's up, Makeshift? Thank you guys so much for coming out. I really do appreciate it. So again, I will be moving around here a little bit more, jumping around to kind of keep things afloat and just fun and interactive here. So of course, we're going to be jumping to quite a few things. Of course, what are we going to start with? We have the market basically hitting an all-time high. We have the S&P 500 closing at almost at that 44,000 range, or that 400 range on the S&P 500, by missing it by like 66 points or 60 points, depending on if you're looking at the S&P 500. So that's going to be basically very interesting to see the stock market close at an all-time high on a Friday. So it's going to be very difficult to say, like, let's short this, because again, we also have the market closed on Monday for here in the United States for President's Day. So that's something also to be very mindful about. We're having that closed as well. We'll see this here. Standing desk, very fancy. Yeah, if I had this standing desk for a little bit, I need to use it more. I'm a fairly lazy individual. I get set in my ways and I like to sit, even though I have a very nice standing desk that I should be using more often. Can you check? It's supposed to be merging with Newegg. I remember Newegg was supposed to go public years ago. I think, wasn't Amazon supposed to buy them? I remember that was kind of a thing, right? And I remember they released some of their numbers, and their numbers weren't that great, if I remember right. Again, this is years ago, and it's foggy. My memory could be somewhat lucid, no pun intended, to the Lucid Motors announcement that, of course, we're going to definitely be talking about as well. I saw some comments already coming up on that one. Ben, what's up, Ben? I remember their margins were so short, like they weren't that great. Like because again, they're somewhat the middleman. They're taking merchandise from one person, putting it into another warehouse, and then shipping it out. Like, it's not like an Amazon, where Amazon makes a lot of the Amazon basic stuff, and Amazon has such a large monopoly over things. They can really just cut things out and just really manipulate prices in that better way. But that'd be interesting to see how Newegg. Again, I love computers. I love technology. I haven't ordered too much stuff from Newegg in the recent couple of years. Mostly it's just from Amazon, but it's interesting to see on how they will be performing from that. CCIV did very well. Yeah, KFC open door. Former IPO C or B. I always get the two mixed up. I think it was B, actually. IPO B also went up pretty well this week. IPO E kind of came back as well. A CCIV, baby, George saying. No, GT, yeah. So basically, the market loves SPACs. You're 100% correctly. My only fear is that there's a lot of SPACs out here, and I think I'm having trouble tracking them. I know other people are having trouble tracking them, and it's not like, I think the Clover Health, if you remember, the IPO C, I believe, Chamath Palihapitiya is getting that short report came out and said, like, hey, this business model is actually not as as wonderful and as exciting as you might look at, and they made some pretty good points, honestly, and it did shake some people out here. Again, if that matters to anything, like it definitely. Of course, we had the Nikola, like that was basically the first shot across the bow of like, hey, these SPACs. Are regulated, I'm doing air quotes, but they're not the most stringent on the amount of due diligence and research that like for example, like a Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan or Bank of America will do the underwriting for. So the SPAC route is a little bit different than a normal IPO route. Like they have a huge roadshow when they do the IPO. That there's a lot of due diligence that goes months and months in. Not saying things get by and things still go bad, but there's definitely a lot of bad IPOs. Don't get me wrong. That being said, yeah. Elon saying Nicholas tied to the VIX. That's interesting. Um, yeah, the Rev IPO would be nice. September. What do you think is like? Yeah, that's the one that Amazon is pretty. See, Amazon is like I always get the one. This is where it gets mixed up. Like I think Amazon has some in NGA. That's the school bus one that a lot of people were talking about. That's a Canadian company that's moving here to Ohio, I believe. That they're building a plant in the next year and a half to really build school buses, but they also are making the smaller delivery trucks. AKA, we already know what's happening in Ohio with Workhorse. They're delivering their work trucks, and there's a lot of competition, which again is great for the market. But the thing is that it's a dog eat dog world out there. So it's not going to be all these companies are going to be doing fantastic. There's a lot of room in this ever expanding universe of EVs. Being in the forefront, basically considering it being in the first inning of EV rollout in the world. I think that there's definitely going to be a lot of turbulence, especially that being said. Nikola dips and it goes up. That's interesting. I just have to say thank you to SNDL. There was a nice little win. Yeah, SNDL, that was a very interesting one. So I trade I don't trade those penny stocks at all. I like to stay away from them. Again, it's very enticing. Let's be honest here. It's very it's wonderful to see. Hey, this stock just went from 60 cents to $2. Like I'm very happy for you. Just be very careful with that out there. I think, Alan, you've been around orbit a couple times around the sun, that you know that things like that occur not as frequently, and if they do occur, you have to be very mindful and careful to really cut your losses fast if you do get a pullback. For example, just look at Tilray. Like that thing hit $80 a couple days ago, and then it just got smacked across the face, and it just fell flat on its face, just like right in the snow. No pun. We still have snowed out there too. It makes me a little upset. But anyways, let's get my fat head out of the way here, and we can kind of go into the main screen here and start looking at some stuff here. With this being said, so like I wanted to talk about the old Tilray. Like, look at this. This is what happens when something gets very heavily pumped. Vlad and SNDL was very heavily pumped. Like there's no real rhyme or reason behind it. Like it's way overextended. That is a great way to put it. You took the words right out of right out of my mouth, Alan. Of just it's an in and out play. Like this is not like, hey, I'm going to invest in this company and I think it's going to go to $300 in 2 years. So seeing something going from like this level, okay, $20, okay, you have to come out with such underlying research and just really just a gangbusters of a move to really support these kind of prices. These can be elevated for very long, for a short period of time, but over time it just can't hold up. Like we saw it with GME on the squeezes in that sense. Again, huge run higher. We saw that volume output here hit that, well, in the after hours trading, I think it hit 80, or it hit $77 in after hours trading. But then out of nowhere, boom, Thursday collapsed from basically $70 all the way down to $33. So it lost $40 in frothy value in just literally a day. And then today kind of started out a little bit, but then people like, I'm not holding this garbage bag into the 3-day weekend, so let me just start selling out of it. And of course, you saw a lot of selling in the last hour, which is never a good sign to see, without a doubt. Because like, well, I didn't even look at what GME did today. Yeah, $50. Okay, so it's literally, of course, we saw it run higher, of course, hit that wonderful $500 range. Really got a lot of attention. Like the amount of people that were reaching out to me that had no idea how the stock market works, or talking about this GME stuff, insane. And then of course that very fast decline, a lot of volume coming in, especially at the open and the close. Of course, the heavier volume times when we see it. Of course, now it's kind of flatlining here. Potentially you're going to have some potential diamond hands. I call them diamond hands, but I don't think there really are diamond hands. I think they're just a little bit more hardened paper mache hands that will potentially break, and then we'll potentially see the stock back down to $30 to $20 from that evaluation. Again, GameStop was somewhat reasonable at $20, but once it took off in that short squeeze, all the fundamentals just went out the door. Okay, the fundamentals, the technicals went out the door. It just went into completely chaotic parabolic mode from that. So just be very mindful of that. We've seen some very strange markets, and especially if you've been only trading for the past 6 to 7 months, it's been insane. Like very unordinary time frames, without a doubt. Because Tilray had it, if you remember, Tilray used to be $300 on its first pump, so it had that overall mentality already in it. Adelin's asking us for BBY is killing it again. Bill the Bear looks like look. Yeah, you're right. You're onto something, man. This is an interesting chart. Again, seeing these very large aggressive candlesticks here, sure, why not? Like if it's holding that 21 EMA, right? Just be very mindful that we just gotta this could get somewhat of an elevator move down fairly fast in a very short period of time. Let me put my phone over here, charger on the, get that out of my face. That being said, here we can definitely see that come up again. That overall resistance is basically at $7, so we'll see on how that one pans out. Okay. Exactly, Vlad. Yeah, very rare to see a stock from that very extreme super squeeze to go to 500. Absolutely insane. David is looking for, can you check out BES? I've never heard of that in my life. It's not loading for me. Is that a US-based stock there, David? What's up, Ryan? KTOS. Yeah, this one is definitely, maybe my chart is taking a little bit longer to load here. This is weird. Hang on. Okay, looks like the daily chart doesn't want to load here real fast. Okay, that's never fun. All right, so I got to do this. Load this. I gotta go here and get KTOS. There we go. There must be something stuck here on my scripts. That's weird. It's all on the daily chart too. You notice that? I go on the daily here. Might have to restart here in a second, folks. I'm sorry. Might be Ken is having technical difficulties. Yes. Hold on. Uno momento, as the Italians would say. Let me show you my fat face here. And I'm going to do... Let's do... Let me just close it. Yar. All right, open it again. Interesting stuff, right? I got a big old... It should be loading up here in a second. Looks like they might be installing updates. That's wonderful. Okay, here we go. Password is password. That's my password. All right, let's see here. Still spinning. That's not cool. Let me see if it's doing on other things. It's not doing. It's just doing a. Did someone hack KOTS? Because it's not loading on the daily chart for some reason. Let me see here. Yeah, that daily chart's not loading for me. I can type in any other chart, but KTOS is not loading. Let me do this here. Hang on. Always got to have a backup. It's not the greatest, but I use Tastyworks charts, so we can look at this this sucker here. Let's go back to the main screen. So K2S, of course, this one has been pretty much talked about again. We're looking here on a daily chart using Tastyworks. Again, Tastyworks puts on Ken's computer. It's puts on Thinkorswim, actually. This is basically looking at K2S. Again, we had that little breakout at $30. It has been holding the 21 EMA the 34 EMA, which is the orange line here, fairly well here. I'm getting a lot of volume coming here. Definitely, maybe kind of like a sideways action again. This is very much like a cup, and now it has broken out here. So that initial, if it does pull back down to 30, would be a very nice entry point from that level. So I really do like KTOS. Of course, I know that the old Kathy is all over that as well. Michael is looking for SATS. Let's see, that one loads. SATS. Okay, that's not loading. Why is so Tesla's loading? Okay, Tesla's loading. Maybe let's do PSTH. Yeah, PSTH. Of course, this is the Pershing Square Capital. This is again a stock that has been it's a SPAC. It's slightly differently categorized of a SPAC because it's more tied to a longer term investment using Pershing Square, aka Bill Ackman, and this is a fund that is really just a blank check, and people are just kind of waiting for once they come out and announce on who they're going to be buying. That's definitely going to be an interesting one to see and one they select, because this one has had a lot of rumors, but this stock should only be trading around 20-ish, $21. But with this premium that we've seen on it here, we've seen it run up to all the way to $33.50 here. So that is such a high premium for something that has not even been announced yet. We have no idea what the company is. We're just like, hey, we love Bill, people are saying, and they're just going for the overall play here. With that being said, it has been holding that 21 EMA. It had seen this pullback here, but that was that overall pullback we kind of saw in the overall market to that 50-day. With that being said, again, this is still a very blank check company, so anything can still happen. Yeah, CCIV. Of course, this thing was a rocket ship today. A typical SPAC here with fantastic news. You see that 5 and 8 moving average is really continuously having this momentum going high, hitting a high of $41.37. Of course, being only up 26.92% today. That's pretty substantial here. Even this, it's very difficult to buy at these levels. Let's be honest with you. With that being said, this could just continue to run up here. The IV is through the roof at 92.7. The ATR, which is average true range, is at 4.9. So this is a very outlandish move for this kind of stock. But it is a blank check company, so the moves are pretty drastic up or down. So really put your helmets on and get ready for a really bumpy ride, depending on what happens. Again, very difficult one to say. Some targets could be potentially trying to reach 45 to 50, but this will be a strong candidate to add to if you want to play the game to around $33 to the downside. Oh, NVIDIA, open, please, when you have a sec. Yep, Kev T, what's up, my friend? Open, yeah, another, well, now it's a complete company. Really rocketing higher. You saw it hit that 38.29 level, which is a Fibonacci number here, and kind of like bounce off of that a little bit. Doesn't mean it doesn't have a chance to go back up. It's just like, hey, this definitely could be to look out for something and be very mindful of that level up there, because of the long-term goal. With this initial trend here, we're going to be looking for breaking 38 to try to reach $45 a level. So that's going to be something we're looking for open. This thing has been a little choppy here. You saw this is the move from the 32 all the way down to like that 22 range. That $10 range was once the merger was announced, and it switched from the IPO status of the SPAC to the full company of Open, and then it kind of went sideways for a little bit. But now rocketing higher because, again, a lot of stuff going out there of like saying, hey, homes are being sold left and right. Considering Open Door might be making a deal with someone and really streamlining the process of having to deal with a realtor or even have to deal with a realtor at all. And then to NVIDIA, right? Yeah, NVIDIA, I just look at this one. This thing has just been trading sideways, doing next to nothing for quite some time here. Finally trying to break out here. That 588 level, which was considered the breakout zone here, is something that we need to be looking at here. Again, we do have earnings just coming up on the 24th of February, so just right around the corner here, about 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away for that, to definitely be mindful of that, and to see that potentially try to reach that 620 level. That's really a key target that we're looking at here. On that move here, we can look at the earnings here of the options counters. So they're looking for a move for that week about $55. So we can easily potentially see it break through that 620 level, which is a very key Fibonacci level. NVIDIA has been in very, 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 very range bound level here. So this is something to be very mindful about if we do get that substantial move higher again. For support, really, support's going to be coming in really strong around 542. Again, we're kind of breaking away from that, the overall expected move, because if we do get a downside move of $50, we're going to be looking for some initial support around 562 to 542 in those ranges there. I saw Rocket. Yeah, I saw you guys were talking about that in the Discord about Warren Buffett buying into this. I thought he owned a couple of mortgage companies already, but maybe not. Maybe I was thinking of car insurance companies. But Rocket, yeah, this has just been. I want to love it. It was a great move in the very first IPO, but then the earnings came out. I think a little people got a little bit too far ahead of themselves, and now it's just kind of been a little bit lackluster here. I think if we can get through this next earnings, we could potentially get that washing out all those potential weak hands and really maybe see Rocket trying to really form a solid rocket rock bottom here to really see maybe a springboard effect from that. PLTR, yeah, we'll take a look at PLTR. I like that one for sure. PLTR this thing has earnings really next week, right? Yeah, the 16th. So that is Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. Probably it's before the bell because they're weird like that. What are they? Please let me know. before the market. Yeah. So again, Monday's closed, so you needed to place your bet today, really. So with this being said, this thing is just really just playing the crapshoot. Really, a lot of people are just buying it because other people are telling them to buy it. The expected move for the week is basically $6, so that could easily go back up to try to test that $4.35 to $36 range, which we've kind of seen some overhead resistance come in here, or we could see it break lower to around that 28 and below, which we saw a lot of underlying support around 26. Very much, I believe, a state-of-the-art company. I think I've never seen some of the technology that they show off. Without a doubt, I think that they have a very strong edge in the overall business model that they are in. But I just don't know how the people on Wall Street tries to put it in a box. I really do enjoy PLTR, though. 2020 was the year of SPACs. Yeah, I think 2021 is we're going to see a lot more SPACs too, Ryan. Yeah, CCIV is definitely, a lot of people are super stoked about that. I saw a couple people talk about GEVO. I saw that one kind of also within the Discord again. If you're interested in joining the Discord, there's a link down below. A lot of fun stuff going on there. Yeah, between this one and BNGO, these things have just been rocketing here, really heavy on the momentum side. With the 5 and 8 moving average, again, on the daily chart, that 5 and 8 moving average really drives that price here. And seeing it continue to kind of rocket higher here, with really strong pullback. We're seeing gap ups and maybe a small pullback, but we're seeing it come right back down to the 8 EMA. So we haven't really seen a significant pullback in this, and really to see on how to test those potential diamond hands or paper mache hands, because if we do get a pullback, we can easily see it come down to around 1140 to around the 1075 range, and that would be fine because it hits that 21 EMA. It's a reversion to the mean, and really could see this kind of rocket higher here. But with these kind of moves here, we'll have to see, right? Like it's very hard to tell. Again, it needs to break below the 8 EMA here on the daily chart to kind of see anywhere downward side momentum there. What's up, Wesley? Thoughts on Spot or Shopify? Okay, I was thinking of Spot. Yeah, Shop. Whew. This is a spicy guacamole here, and I love it. Very, very much elevated here. I'm going to say it's difficult for me to purchase anything like that. It's not my trading style. I like to buy it closer to the 21 or the 34. I would rather have bought it down in these ranges here. I own a little bit of it, just a tiny bit, because it is somewhat of an expensive stock here. And the time when I purchased it, I didn't have that much of powder or cash to put into it. But I accumulated at these two spots down here. Again, was fortunate enough to really ride up here and really break that range that I had around 1250. And now seeing it rocket higher, I'm going to be potentially, this is not going to be a long-term hold for me. I'm potentially going to sell, I think I only own, like, no joke, like maybe 6 or 7 shares. It was very small size, so it's a nice mover. I liked it. I like the setup. I wanted to put more capital into it. I just didn't have it at the time, and then I got sideswiped by other things, and I just didn't really get too many eyes on it. But yeah, I love this stock very much. I hope you did a little bit better job on sizing into this one, Wesley, than I did. But again, with earnings coming out next week, right? On the 17th, again, also before the market. So the expected move for next week is around $116. So that's going to be pretty substantial move. So we're currently around 1450-ish. That would definitely put it past the 1550-ish range. We did see nearly hit that $1,500 range. That's a nice little number people like to see, so that we definitely My only concern is, again, it can beat earnings and continuing higher, but this is very highly elevated going to earnings. So this would be in the book of my categories of like, hey, this could be a potential short earnings run, and then earnings come out, it could just be flat or do nothing, and then people get like, well, why didn't Shopify go anywhere? Because it ran up the week prior to it. So be mindful of that. Tommy is asking for CPSH. Wow. Yeah, that's a crazy, wowzers. That's an insane move higher without a doubt. You can see that volume coming in those days really pump this higher again. Very interesting because he saw that first pump higher and then the kind of like didn't really sell off. It just kind of slowly kind of glided into the 21 EMA, kind of waited for the 21 EMA to kind of catch up and then it kind of bounced off of it. Easily could happen again. Really spike higher. Not sure idea what this company does or is doing. You said in mental/cosmetic technology will be huge. Fantastic. They always need a lot of help. With that, if we do get a breakout to that $30 range, because again, not saying always look on what happened to the past, but history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. So potentially looking for this pattern to kind of hold sideways, maybe have the 21 EMA kind of start catching up with it. Again, maybe slowly glide the candles or the ticks into the 21 EMA. If it holds the 21 to 34 EMA, we could get that boost higher. But it's very difficult for me to purchase this at this current price level. BlackRock, Invesco, and Vanguard recently have been buying large stakes into Rocket. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into more of it, honestly, because I like it. I liked it when it first came out. I like the idea behind it. Like, that's the reason I like IPOE. Like, IPOE does mortgages, it does student loans. Like, it has everything, but like Rocket is like known as the go-to mortgage company. Like that's how they brand themselves. So like, hey, you need a mortgage? Go on the app. We'll get you a mortgage in 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it is. I haven't used them, but I hear other people have had a fairly good experience with it. But yeah, going back to Rocket, I'm gonna need to do a little more homework on it. It does have a pretty strong, let me go look at my secret chart 1 second. Yeah, that's what I figured. A lot of strong buying points at $20.27. So within this chart here, it's basically saying on the largest volume spikes on where that volume in the volume have where the stock was bought on what volume here, and you're seeing that volume point or the point of control they call it is around $20. And $20.23, $20.25. And again, that really just shows that support level there. So right about, so it's at $20.23. So let's just put it right here. That is very strong support. So if we do get a break below that, so that means there's a lot of people there sitting on their hands, buying into this, just waiting for it to pop. This is definitely one to look out for. Again, I wrote it down. I have it on my watch list. It just hasn't been really that great of a performer. I do like kind of bottom fishing here though, but that's definitely something to look out for. And you're usually right on those little bottom fishers too. So I'm going to give you kudos on that one ahead. Brian's asking for the old Tesla. Tesla. It's sold off. Not a lot of people are like, hey, Ken, why is Tesla selling off and crashing? It's not crashing, ladies and gentlemen. It's just coming down to the 21 to 34 EMA. Just to be very mindful, it has gone from the mid of November of last year to basically where it is that high right before earnings. It has only been up 118%. 118% in about 70 days. So I think Tesla can kind of take a break for a little bit, maybe pull back. 722, 750 would be totally fine. That being said, a pullback even further would be just fine too. Again, we're really talking about a lot of new people in the market right now that haven't really experienced a very true pullback. Like everyone just thinks a normal pullback is a normal pullback is like what happened in March of last year. No, 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 that's not a pullback. That's a crash. That is a pure panic selling crash. Again, a pullback would be something substantial within that 5% range, and then a stronger correction would be something of an excess of 10%. So looking here on Tesla directly here, what we're seeing this to potentially to play out here, we had that range up here. Of course, Thinkorswim can't auto move the box because they're, there we go. So a 10% correction with the old Tesla is kind of where we're sitting at here. So it kind of came down to that 12% to 13% range here. And that kind of falls into that 21 to 34 EMA, which we talk about multiple times. We do have a squeeze setting up, which could be something very spicy ending up. I think that $900 range is a very strong level to try to break through. Again, I don't want to speak my own book. I love Tesla. I've been in it forever. Of course, I want it to go higher. But a pullback would be just fine. I think most people know that. Disney Plus went down, so I was hoping to pop post earnings. Disney... I love myself the old Disney here. Very, very again, they have a lot of content, let's be honest here. And they also had that very large move with earnings. It did kind of pull back just ever so slightly, but nothing substantial here. Like we're talking about, like, it's still holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. It didn't close, it hit an all-time high today. So that's always fantastic. But it did really come off here a little bit, as you say. With that being said, that doesn't mean that we have to sell and get rid of everything. If it started really creating lower and actually went down substantially more to like 180, then it might be something to be concerned about. Again, this is just normal profit taking because, again, it didn't move that much because look what happened to the week prior. It really ran into earnings. So. And guess what? It made a profit in the quarter. Okay, so right, like the parks are closed down, the cruise lines are closed down, but they're still making money. Thank God to Disney Plus for them. George is asking for Riot. Whoa, talk about a rocket ship. This thing is just going off to an all completely new galaxy here. Very difficult to kind of contain here. We can do some very basic fib work here. The sad thing is we were talking about this one when it was like last year, like it was like $2 or $3. And I was like, yeah, we'll see what happens. Of course, it just makes $50 highs. That being said here, that's how crazy this market is. We are reaching a key level, another Fibonacci level from this previous swing high to low here, around $49. $49, $50, because we're all friends here, is basically a level. It's very easy to write on the keyboard, really easy to write on your phone. $50 level is a very significant level, and we're just close to slightly below it. With that being said, if this momentum in rocket ship wants to continue going higher here, that $69 to $70 range is going to be the next level. That being said, we're pretty elevated here at these levels. High level of RSI and the volumes on oscillator that can easily kind of create a trading sideways mode, or even a pretty strong like a pullback, not a correction or a crash. But like a pullback and kind of waiting to potentially shake out those paper hands, those paper mache hands that we always talk about. All right. Let's see here. Ken loves some pins. I love pins. Yes, that thing pulled back today. It was not pretty, but it pulls back, right? Like it had nice earnings and everything. Still very strong base here. Again, it is somewhat elevated here on my charts here. I do have a target to try to hit 90. It has not hit that yet, but a pullback even back down to $80, even to $76, and that would be still within doable range. What's up, Alpaca? How you doing, my friend? MMEDF. Yes. We talked about this one quite a bit here. You got me into this one around $3. It's kind of breaking higher here slowly. It's kind of doing some head fakes, kind of head bobbing here, getting a slight breakout, but then coming right back down to that 21 to 34 EMA, coming back higher. But this high is higher than this high, so it's making higher highs on that sense. So that's always good. With that being said, it's just going to be a slow, easy grinder. But I think once to quote this, if MMEDF finally gets listed on the NASDAQ and people on different other exchanges can or other platforms can add to it, I think this definitely could easily explode to $5 just on that fact alone. I saw NIO. Yes, they have earnings coming up very soon as well. This one, very interesting one without a doubt here. I got some negative commentary on it. I'm not going to be negative on any really straight company, but I am a Tesla bull, so I kind of have to throw a little bit of flack out there. Just joking. That was a joke, if that's called sense of humor. That being said here, that $62.27 level has been a pretty significant wall of resistance. Again, that's also a fib number from that swing high to swing low that we saw basically the Thanksgiving and November timeframe of last year. Because that was a very significant move higher than a low. And then we saw some multiple levels of support there, and now trying to break higher. If we can stay above that $57 range, which is a very strong, also a key of support, we can easily see this potentially break out to $68 to $70 range. With earnings coming up, I think it's on the 1st of March. Yeah, it's on the 1st of March, so it's a little bit further out than other companies. But yeah, this is definitely one to keep an eye out. I'm just selling some very simplistic puts in it. I think I sold some around this range here, around the $50. When it was at this range, I sold like the 50 puts. I backed it up with basically a put credit spread. I think $10 wide, so got a little bit of premium on it. Sold a little bit off when I hit that $62 level. So this nice little easy play. This is not going to be a heavy investment for me, without a doubt. This is just like a trade for me. Ryan said he's elbow deep in calls for Rocket. It really has a 40% short interest. That's interesting. I stumbled across DISCK. I've not heard of that. Oh, Discovery Channel? This is the Discovery Channel stock? Okay, this is not like loading for me. I am thirsty. Ugh. It's not loading for me. Thinkorswim needs to update their stuff. Yes. Jesus R is asking for Tilray. All right, Jesus. Yeah, this one is definitely one. Yeah. Again, just to kind of give you a little history lesson on this sucker. This thing used to be $300. Again, when it first came public, it had a huge run up here. I don't know when it first came public, but it got the first marijuana wave that we saw way back in like 18. Huge run higher, hit $300. Of course, then after the fact of that has been nothing but declining ever since then. Really based pretty hard the past couple months in the summer. Now getting a run higher. So what do you see here? Just looking on the weekly chart that you see the pattern before. You're seeing this really long star. It's a bottom star chart here. So that meaning it has a very long wick and then a small consolidation on the bottom. Guess what we're seeing here on this weekly chart? Very long wick and a very bottom chart. Yes, I think marijuana is going to be legalized across the globe or the country. But this is a little outlandish here, let's be honest here. I think people know that, right? Toronto, can we look at SOS? Is that really a stock? That's a cool sticker symbol. Yeah, another little runner here. Very interesting to see this one again. We saw some overhead pressure on that 320 to 325 range, but now we're seeing it really kind of take off here and just really kick higher here, seeing at these levels coming through here. With that being said, very highly elevated, very difficult to kind of catch, to kind of see where this is going. If we just zoom out to the weekly chart again, look at this. This used to be $57, and this has been very much just like, I don't know if it's in the same market like Tilray, but it has the same kind of pattern of just like crazy volume higher. I think it's very difficult. This is not my forte to buy these stocks. Be very careful with them. And MRI, no, it mirrors BTC. Yeah, so this one, of course, is just like, yeah. Oh my gosh. There we go. This, of course, same kind of pattern. Very much like Bitcoin. I can see it hit 43.65 and maybe level off at these ranges here. But that being said, be very mindful. It does mimic, like you just said, Bitcoin, of course, Bitcoin nearly hit 50,000. Yeah, nearly hit 50,000. Which is insane. Like, that's insane, right? Like, let's just take a quick little breather there and like, holy smokes. That's a lot of cheese there, a lot of cheddar. Is it extended? I don't know. Like, very much driven by FOMO. I believe that. I believe it's by FOMO, a little bit of froth. And I really calculated on who asked me about it. So if I have people asking me about it who know nothing about anything about stocks or even cryptos, then I'm like, I'm a little skeptical here. Little skeptical. Ron Burgundy, yes, SENS. Yes, we did that video a couple days ago now, and it's finally breaking above that $4 range, which we talked about, which again, very similar. It's holding that 5 and 8 moving average. We've talked about this multiple times. This is definitely can easily grind higher here. We do have some next Fibonacci levels, which we highlighted on the video, is basically 486, aka $5. Then it's $6.09, aka $6. So those are going to be some levels to potentially to look out for if we can reach those levels. Even though it's not moving that substantially on volume, which basically indicates there's not many people selling. So doing the volume profile on this chart here, you got to be a little bit careful because the overall like next tier down is around the average around $2.85. So be mindful if you do get a pullback, that can easily hold that level of support. And guess where that falls into? That falls in almost exactly to the 21 EMA. So be very mindful of that. Real Boy, it says CRSR. Yeah, those gaming stocks took a little bit of a hit today, this week, right? This had earnings, kind of didn't really do much of anything. It's still kind of been range bound. It hasn't really broken from its previous. This was an IPO, right? This wasn't a SPAC, right? This was an IPO. Yeah. I remember this one like first came out. It's been holding the 21 EMA pretty well until this really strong pullback here. And now we're just seeing these little like choppy waves pattern, kind of like when you're riding your jet ski, and not the Gulf of Mexico, but more on the Atlantic side. You're getting a little bit choppy waves here. And then seeing it just continue to ride here with the potential of breaking out. Again, it is really sticking to those Fibonacci numbers here. So around that $44 range has been a pretty significant level of resistance and support there, because you're seeing it fail here, 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 and then basically now it's not trying to get back above water there. And then if it does, it needs to really break above 47. So we could just maybe get a very long extended base here and maybe get like a cup and handle here. So we go down to the weekly chart, and then that's not going to load because I don't know why. I don't pay Thinkorswim enough. That sucks. With that being said, if we do get that kind of a basing out here, maybe get like that rounded cup handle here and maybe get that break above $50, we can easily see this run to $56 to $62 to the upside. AMC, that is definitely a very interesting one to see. Again, this it was a failing company. Yes, I think they paid off their debts or somehow they raised capital. Hit that Fibonacci level around $20, came right back down. Now kind of basing around that $5.50 range. If we do get a further pullback, this can easily come back and break below $4.72. So be very careful with this one. Again, this is very much a short squeeze looking one at. Pop saying Chug. I'm sorry, I'm really far behind here. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, but the chat keeps on updating. I'm trying to keep my symbols up to date here. GSAT, Ryan, I know that you guys have talked about this one quite substantially. I know David, you, and a couple other folks within the Discord have been talking about this again. Folks, we have a fantastic Discord. What do we talk about today at Discord? I wasn't really much in there. I was doing nonsense stuff for work and running around with errands. What were we? There's something I talked about the other day. Oh, refrigerators. We talked about refrigerators, Costco snacks. Ryan and I talked about Samsung refrigerators. I did order a Samsung refrigerator, Ryan. Anyways, I know this one has been very much on the space SPAC. Space ETF for potentially when Kathy Wood releases her list of what they're buying for the space stack that she's going to have. I think it's called the Space and Innovation or Exploration kind of fund, whatever it was. With this one, I think you know this, very much momentum-driven stocks. Again, on the daily chart, look at that 5 and 8 moving averages. If we zoom it down to the hourly chart, or sorry, that's not the hourly chart. We move out to the hourly chart. I like to follow the 34 EMA on the hourly chart, especially to kind of help me follow with the trend here. It has had that run higher beginning of the week. Now it's been a little bit choppy here. Potentially we'll see on how this comes into the long weekend and how we get on the other side of the week from that. Pop, thank you for the $1.99. You're saying SCNS is a long hold. I'm buying every week. Nice. Are you using like a cost average based on that? Yeah, it looks like a lot of people love SCNS. Like, would love to have someone from the company on. I need to start building out my empire. Gus saying SCNS is a long-term play for me. They could take down Dexcon, who's 420 a share. Sure. Again, the thing is crazy with these medical device or medical pharmaceutical companies. They're just not as even like crazy as tech. These things can run. Like there's people who literally just invest in pharmaceutical stuff. They do due diligence up the wazoo, and they try to find and pick out these extraordinary winners here, because these things, if they do explode, they're absolutely phenomenal. What's up, Johnny Bravo? Earl G. Hey, Ken, thoughts on U and CRM? Thank you. U is Unity, right? And they just had earnings. They were kind of a little bit of a mixed bag. Yeah. So, very strong coming out of the IPO. Kind of like, again, sideways action. Kind of a very substantial pullback here. it's not like it's like crashing here. I would like to see it potentially show some support around 120 to 117. We're currently around 125, 126. With that being said, it is a couple days after earnings. Looking here at the volume profile, I like it at this level. I'm not saying throw in everything in your account. What I've done, I have a position in this just so slightly. I'm just selling put spreads on this right now. So basically buying like the 120 selling the 120 put, and then buying like the 110 put below it to kind of create that little bit of cushion for myself there. But I do like this play. I think it has great technology. I know Kathy Wood loves it as well. And what was the other one? CRM. Yeah, this one is, they bought or they're buying Slack, aka Work. Somewhat of a lagger here. We can into the late of last year has pulled back substantially to the 200 EMA again. Being a very heavy tech focused company, pulling to those levels, they are very much behind the curve with everyone else that's been like in the SaaS technology space. Now finally kind of running up here. We do have earnings coming out on the 25th, so about 2 weeks out from here. Let me see what the earnings are for that. Only a move of $20. That seems little okay. As you can see here, the last two earnings, there were huge gaps up and then huge gaps down, because I think it's just depending on what you're looking at here. If you think that they pay too much for work, I think the Wall Street people are saying that they pay too much for work, but then you have the people who are like technology focused and really love the possibilities that can end to it, are saying like, hey, this is a fantastic opportunity. Work or Slack will pay off for itself in the next 5 or 10 years. But I like it. I think we can easily see if it does run up, we're potentially running some support around 250, which kind of maybe gets an earnings run. It's very difficult to say with, again, that some of that heavy load that we're seeing from it. Alexander, what's up, my friend? Says, hey, Ken, thoughts on ZM if you haven't covered it yet? Nope, we have not. So that sucker has been a pain in my thorn. Like where do we start with Zoom here, Alex? Very significant downtrend here, kind of basing here, building that base that we call here, and then tries to get up to that 430 to 429 level to break out here. We do have earnings also coming out for this sucker on the 1st of March. So that could be something to be mindful about and get ready for. What is that move for that? Basically $68 to $70. So that could easily bring us up to that 560 to even to potentially that 490 range there, which we probably have seen significant resistance before, again, on this level here and running up to earnings to that level there as well. So we potentially could get our earnings run within this one, again, depending on how people's moves are in the sense of it potentially being the numbers. I think that it definitely has the opportunity. But I think if I remember right, the fundamental story of this is that their sales contracts and their large clients have been somewhat skewed a little bit, and they're not able to capture large group enterprise contracts, if I remember right. But we do have a very strong support around 378 to 375, which is basically kind of puts it into that 144 EMA there. Alexander's, what's happening with all the penny stock hypes recently? It's just that everything's been moving. It's literally been a rocket ship. It's been a very crazy super cycle bull market, and everything moves in, especially the micro caps into the very, very small micro semi cap stocks move crazy when that happens. GSAT is part of the Moon and Mars projects. Fantastic. Tell us more about IPOE. This Chamath really is the next Oracle, like Kathy and Papa Ela. I don't know about Oracle. I don't like to put anyone on a pedestal like that. I think he does know his business stuff. I think he's very savvy in that. I think his track record speaks for that. I really do like IPOE. I think you're talking to the post that I did for the members and Patreon members that I said that again, let's just kind of put this in a box here. Like if SoFi is very much like Square and PayPal, their market caps are like 50x or 25 to 30x of what we're looking at with SoFi right now. Potentially, again, it hasn't been announced or merged yet, but this thing could definitely run. So I'm not saying this is going to be a $200 stock next week, but IPOE or SoFi has the opportunity to really potentially take some market share from those companies. Again, from my knowledge, I don't think PayPal or Square does mortgages, or they don't do student loans. Like, just having everything in one company is nice. Like, it's interesting play. It's not like I'm putting all my eggs in one basket here, Johnny, but just be very mindful of that, Johnny Allcash. No, going to the Johnny Bravo is check out RWLK, been holder from the beginning. Not expecting a penny stock now, but could have been a product here on YouTube. Let me take a look here, Lou. RWLK. Man, I don't know. Is this Thinkorswim like blocking like FOMO or like crazy heavenly bot stocks? Because this is not loading for me. That's insane. Let me pull it up here on Tasty. Wow, interesting. RWLK, Real Walk Robotics. Yeah, that's a beautiful move. Like, again, a little bit extended, a very long candle here. Not really my favorite cup of tea here, honestly, Johnny Bravo, but it's holding that. Again, that purple line we're looking at is the 8 EMA. It's just been holding that, continuing running higher. We're seeing some volume spikes in here, so that's all really good in the hood. A little bit highly elevated here on the RSI here that we can see here around 80. So be very mindful of that. Again, guys, and also if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you hit the like button. I know it maybe takes like 1 or 2 calories, or not even like 0.0002 of your calories to hit that. If it's on the mouse, if it's on the phone, I really do appreciate it. Michael, he's asking for Tesla, Square. Let's look at these guys. I'm sorry. A lot of people are coming in here. Sorry, let me get on front of these. Let me make sure these are loading. I know Square. Let's look at Square. Okay. There we go. Square is loading here, of course. Square breaking out to an all-time high today. What can we say about Square? Is it the Bitcoin connection? Is it that you're able to trade GME on it? Like, I think that's part over. We kind of had these 2 little spots highlighted because it was kind of somewhat the same move, a very drastic move down to the 50-day, but then a strong recovery here. And now we're seeing that really kind of forerun here. With that being said, I think that Square is definitely a very strong company. I think it's a very strong part of the future, without a doubt. That being said, just look at this 1-year chart here. It has been holding that 34 and 21 EMA pretty substantially here. It's a little bit far away from the 21 EMA, so that doesn't mean it has to come crashing down, but something to be very mindful about of like, hey, it is running a little bit into earnings here, so I'm a little bit mindful of that. It has the 23rd, so about less than 2 weeks away on this one. So be very mindful of like, hey, this thing running into earnings usually means a flat earnings, or people are not so excited because, again, it ran up literally like $50 running into earnings. So, and that the expected move for the week. So the expected move for the week for the 23rd, which puts in the 26th, which would be around $31. So $31 where we're currently sitting at could easily push it up to that $300 range. And I think people like $300. $300 seems like a nice number, right? Just joking. With that being said, that is definitely something to look out for. We have seen these trends go higher. It does kind of gap down on some whatever news it kind of does, because it does, if it does follow the Bitcoin to some extent. Let's be honest here, because they weren't the first, but I know once Square and PayPal were getting to the crypto stuff, it got a little excited for them. And a lot of new money piling into them. If we do get a pullback, the first level is going to be looking around the 255 to 254, which is the 8 EMA, and a little further pullback would be around the 21 EMA, which would be around 240. Let's see here. I saw someone ask about Tesla. Yeah, we can talk about Tesla. I think a lot of people are a little bit concerned about that. Again, I don't know if it's because of the Lucid deal going through or because of whatever reasons. It's always something with Tesla that people are upset or mad about, or over expected and their expectations weren't met. With Tesla here, we're seeing potentially a double bottom here, maybe a double bottom around that 792. With that being said, Tesla can easily come back down to 750 to even 722, and that trend will be just fine. Just remember, we talked about this towards the beginning of the stream. This stock has run up nearly 118% in 70 days. So it's allowed to take a breather. It's allowed to take a drink of water. It's allowed to regain its composure for the next potentially rocket ship higher. Kale Boy, what's up, my friend? Long time no see. G-Nog. Oh, you and my friend Ariel love that one. I know that the space could potentially really blow up. I really like Penn, to be quite honest with you. I'm not too familiar with like the whole like how gambling industry works, so I'm learning on the fly and trying to keep up with a lot of things. But G-Nog, we could maybe call this a double bottom around 1750, kind of falling in. I was looking for maybe coming down to 17 at least, but this is very much of a downtrend here. Be very mindful that this is a downtrend here. We're below the 21 EMA. It's not a crazy downtrend because we're not below the 200 EMA. Like if you're talking to like a value investor or something like that, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's below the 200 EMA. It's a bear, blah, 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 blah. In the swing trading world, it's below the 50-day, so it is somewhat considered in a downward trending. And by downward trending is we're finally seeing the 50-day kind of start curling over, which could potentially push it lower. We really need to see this break out and stay above $19.65 to $20. Because again, really what I'm saying about the downward trend here, Kale, is look at the purple dots. The purple dots are making a beautiful hill if you had a sled here. If you were in a bobsled, this is a beautiful downward hill slope here. If you're a downhill skier, you would love this trail. And you would be so giddy with joy on trying to ski down these purple dots here. Once we do get that movement higher, really potentially with some volume comes in or something, some catalyst or something, this thing's been so dormant that could really kind of train the trend in that. But check out Net. Yeah, Net had earnings this week, right? Yeah, pulled back here. Guess what? It pulled right back to that 21 EMA. I love Net. I love Cloud. I love Cloudflare. I love I love Cloudflare. I love oh shoot. What was it? Yeah, CrowdStrike. Again, another one really rocketing higher. I love all those stocks. Again, just look at the 21 EMA. I'm not allowed to talk about MGNI. I done messed that one up. I don't know why Thinkorswim's not letting me load these technical ones. They must be blocking me. They're like, Ken, you're not allowed to use those. This is absolutely amazing. Beautiful move higher. No idea where this could cap out here. This is definitely so far extended for my comfort zone. But just be very careful with this one. Christopher, thank you for the $2. TRIT, inverse head and shoulders forming but risky. Let's see if Thinkorswim lets me pull this one. Probably not. Spinning, spinning, spinning. I wonder if I can go to the flex grid if that does. TRIT. It doesn't even pull it up here. That's so weird. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, let's look at here at Tastyworks. Yeah, that's fairly risky. Looking here on Tastyworks, again, this is what I use honestly for trading and everything. That being said, here we have some very strong resistance to around the $10.60 to $10.11 range. Yeah, that is definitely very risky. I don't like to see very red candles like that, crisp to the downside. An inverse head and shoulders on what time frame? Maybe like on the very short time frame here, like a neckline at like 760. That being said, it is maybe trying to create a bottom here, but I don't really know what this company does. This is like a SPAC because it's like I don't know what this is. With that being said, it's very much like not my favorite cup of tea. But if it does start building a base around that 750 range, that could maybe get a breakout without a doubt. You say Chamath is asparagus? What? Oh, Poking New Jack City. Thank you for $2. Hey, thanks, Ken. Enjoy your analysis on stocks. VIVO. Let's see if I can pull that one up on the chart here. It's not letting me pull that one. Let me see if I can pull the other one real fast. ZNA. Yeah, Thinkorswim is just spinning for me. Sorry about that. Let me just look here on my Tastyworks platform. This is a nice little setup here. Very interesting to say the least here. On the daily chart here, we saw some, yeah, I like this one. Very interesting. A little bit kind of made like a very long form cup and handle here, now breaking out here. So we do have some pretty strong resistance to that $26 to $27 range to the downside, kind of falling in where the 8 EMA is. So if we do get a push higher, we're going to be definitely looking for some higher targets around that $32 to $34 range. We can kind of do a fib here if I remember how to do it on here. Fibonacci. There. Yeah, let's see here. I can't zoom. Oh, shoot. Scale, max, fit, high, low. Okay. I don't use this chart very much on here. Year to date. No, I just want to do 1 year. So it looks like it's potentially around like 35 or 34. Let me see if I can do. How in the world? Large scale, percentage scales, max scale. There we go. All right, so it looks like that first level would be around, oh, what the heck? I just messed that up, sorry. Bid frozen orders, close, draws. There we go. Bid drawings. Okay. So the first level we're going to be looking at is around $35 for the next level from there. Pokey. Sorry that took so long. Again, I'm not too familiar with the old Tastyworks charts because, again, I very much Thinkorswim. So looking for $35 would be the next potential level for the upside. Sorry about that. So Zenny and then... Waiting for data. ZENA. Let's see here. That's not letting me pull that one. I don't know what's wrong with that one. If that does load, I'll look. It's not loading on any of this. Is this a U.S. stock? It must be a Canadian stock. Is that a Canadian stock, Pokey? Johnny Cash. Yeah, something's up with Thinkorswim. It's been a really kooky here. Ben, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Beer on you. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm more of a coffee drinker, and if I do have a drink, I usually have like a Manhattan or a whiskey sour. But I appreciate that. Thank you, Ben. Actually, I do. I take it back. I do like Allagash White. Someone's asking for BB and Can. Let's leave those suckers load. It looks like Thinkorswim is having issues here. Of course, BB, which is a BlackBerry. This is not the smartphone device company here. We're definitely looking for, this again was a short squeeze, if you remember here. Rocketed higher, well past nearly $30. Now kind of coming back somewhat to earth. I would consider this back down to around $10.86 to be somewhat normal. It's not too far off from that. They actually do have a pretty good technology and a overall good segment of what they're looking for to kind of build. I'm a little scared on this one, to be quite honest, on the sense of like, hey, being mindful of, is there still that FOMO mentality kind of baked into that? You know what I'm saying? Boy, you're the man, Ken. Well, thank you. Long time no see. I've been distracted, LO, but the has put. You've been very helpful. Like and subscribe. You're very knowledgeable, brother. Thank you, Kale Boy. I hope all is well. It's a difference. VIVO. It's a bioscience. It's a difference VIVO? Oh. Christopher is saying that TRIT is a blockchain for community trades being under attack from lawsuits and short reports. That's never fun. That's very difficult to hold through those. You really have to know what you hold into that, Chris. It sounds like you do. So it really takes some balls of steel to potentially to hold that. Johnny Bravo says 3-day weekend. I bet crypto runs over the weekend while the retail crowd has nothing to do. You are so correct, Johnny. I think that it does definitely have a lot of potential to run, even though those other checks for people are going out. Roland one, DMTK. Where are you at, brother? That is a crazy one. That came across. Someone told me about this one. Looks like, I apologize. Looks like overall, Thinkorswim has just totally done a kapootsies. That being said here, that is a beautiful looking chart. Very strong movement higher here. With this, again, I saw this come up on Twitter. I've been using Twitter for a little bit, and just kind of reading about this. I saw some folks talking about this one, and I was like, what is it? Then I just saw it, and then I forgot about it. But then I looked at the chart, actually. I was like, holy moly, it's just gone. It's been going higher and higher and higher. Very difficult to tell you on how high this can go because there hasn't been a very strong pullback. It's just been multiple gaps ups and just continue to grind higher here. It has been holding the 8 EMA to some extent here. We can kind of see that here once we zoom in here a little bit. That 8 EMA is that little purple line here, and really seeing this kind of continue to go higher here, to be very mindful of that. I do. It's hard for me to tell you to buy, for me to buy it here even personally, but it's insane. Yeah, CCIV. Yeah, CCIV, like, again, this is the one that had a very large move today. Again, like, it's only moved up $8.48. It opened the day at like 32. Very crazy move here. Hit a high of nearly 41-ish, nearly 41.50. We're definitely, again, very news heavy driven kind of stock, potentially trying to get on the ground floor of Tesla, whatever you want to call it. They're making very high end, expensive luxury electric cars. The cars look really pretty. It's hard for me to buy something at this price, to be quite honest. Again, looking at that 8 EMA, this is a very heavy driven FOMO momentum trade here at that 8 EMA there. So be very mindful of that. So a pullback to that would be the first level of support. To the upside, we're looking for $45 to $50 to be some next short-term targets. Yeah, BNGO. A same kind of trade. Like look at this. Like it's the same kind of pattern of like, hey, like look, it's holding the 8 EMA here and just continue grinding higher here. Even though we kind of pulled this out higher here, the RSI and the stochastic here, we're definitely seeing this continue to kind of grind higher here as well. With this potentially trying to move higher again, this is a very substantial move for a very low float, low price stock here. But we are seeing a little bit of resistance coming in around that $13.87 to around $14 range. So be very mindful of that we have not really seen that kind of break through that. That doesn't mean it can't do it. It just means like, hey, it's still holding up, staying above the 8 EMA, so that's still just fine. But we potentially could see it pull back to 1144, and that would be just fine. Even though it can even pull back to that 34 EMA, and the longer term trend will be just fine as well. But you might, if it does get a substantial pullback, we could see some of those paper hands, those paper mache hands, kind of leave the overall trade. I saw someone talk about FUBO. Yeah, let's look at FUBO. Of course, this was a heavy shorted stock as well, but it has high growth. So this one is definitely one that I like to look at the fibs here. So let me draw the fibs here real quick for you. I don't know if I like this. And can I edit the trade? There we go. I don't like to see this. Let's see here. Make it less prices. I kind of like that. So yeah, so looking at this one again, we are looking at the chart looks pretty insane here, but the Fibonacci numbers are really pretty precise here. So if we go back and we don't fit the drawings, we can kind of see the highlighted here. It has had issues here around that $53 to $54 level. Not really getting above that. We are slightly below the 8 EMA. It's kind of hitting the 21 EMA here if we drew it on here. I kind of have the 34 EMA. Again, sorry. So if you're just joining the stream, thank you so much. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate it. We're using Tastyworks today for charts and everything because of Thinkorswim's currently having a smorgasbord of problems, and it just charts are not loading, and it's just things have been kind of messy here. So I do apologize. Again, this is Tastyworks. This is the fantastic platform that I use for executing trades, but it's not the greatest on charting. So I do have to tell you about that. So if you're just joining and you're thinking of Thinkorswim charts, I apologize. I don't have those operational for you today. There's some back-end issues going on within TD or the Thinkorswim platform. I've restarted the platform. It has not fixed that either. So, yeah. Anywho, FUBO has had issues around that $53 to $54 range. Very heavy shorted stock as well, that we talked about that previously. Can it still go higher? Sure, why not? Like, again, it's very heavy growth stock. Again, a lot of people have liked it. Some of these stocks, the indicators I don't have on my normal charts, but I do use this chart, the stochastic down here, and it is potentially trying to bottom here because you're seeing the blue line starting to kind of level off here and cross here, kind of signaling maybe if we stay above that 50% retracement from the previous swing high to low, which kind of puts it in around that $42 to $43 range. If we can hold that in the short term to even down to 39, we could maybe get a retracement and maybe try to test that $53 to $54 range once again. Kev T, also, what are your thoughts on long weekends effects on market movements? I don't know how to answer that, to be quite honestly. What could it affect? I think that things could get, I think people get a little bit, bored, even though they just get that one extra day off. I think people could come in a little bit more aggressive than they would on Tuesday than they really would. That's the only one thing I can maybe think of off the top of my head, like on the psychology of the market or market behavior behind that. The also thing is too is if you're a seller of calls or puts a premium, you're really getting a free day of theta. That's the only way else I can put it. People load up on CCIV just in the case of any news over the weekend. I expected it will drop a little Monday morning. Yeah. Again, if I had to put things in a box, which I always do, because I'm a kind of a put in a box kind of guy, CCIV is definitely a momentum trade. It's very much buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. Have you heard that expression? Basically, the rumor is like, hey, the merger's coming out. Let's get pumped up. Let's go. Let's get that free money, boys and girls. Let's go. Let's get that blank check company going. It's gonna be the next Tesla. Let's go. Let's go. But that party and that music only lasts for a little bit. Like, we'll see on how this actually comes out. Again, I'm trying to put some work together on seeing on some of these SPACs. So once the SPACs announce the merger, whatever like that, majority of the time they have a pullback. They have a pullback of at least 10 to 15%. We saw that with some of the IPOE stuff in the beginning. And all these other kind of scenarios where they do pull back. So be very mindful that we could get a pullback. People just getting that free money because again, they're buying the rumor and selling the news. So once the news does come out, which the individual, who was that? Racer X. Is that from? Is Racer X from? Oh my God, what's that Japanese show? Speed Racer. Is that from Speed Racer? Racer X. That's an awesome reference. That was an awesome name, dude. Okay, sorry. But yeah, that's my point of view on that. Crypto's blowing up right now. We are in a transition in digital and the new system of control. Yeah, I definitely can. Good luck. See you all later. Okay, you just okay. Buddy Fox says, "Hey Ken, what do you think? And take a look at SNDL. Love the channel. Thanks." Yeah, SNDL. Again, I do apologize. I have to use Tastyworks charts, not Thinkorswim. Yeah, very much. Be very careful with this one. Again, it's a little bit. If you're looking at a fundamental chart or fundamental, let's say if I took my glasses off and I put on my fundamental glasses, I'm like, hey, this is overpriced. But being a growth and momentum swing trader at heart, and then really being a growth investor at heart, finding companies that have a high potential of growth in the next couple of years. SNDL, I don't know too much about, but this is definitely one that has been kind of moving and a little bit hesitant about because it has been moving maybe because it was on the short list for people to do the short squeeze with. So I'm a little skeptical. I kind of have those stocks kind of in the back of my brain of like, are these people really buying this stock because they want to invest into it? If it has any groundbreaking technology, or are people buying this just because their buddy on Discord or their buddy at work told them to buy it. Like I'm a little hesitant on it. I don't know, again, the whole fundamental story behind it, but it just seems a little frothy for me. When you start seeing these very large extensions up pretty far, like if you're looking at, I can't do this via this chart, but the extension from here to here in the price movement, how far that percentage is from the 8 EMA, that's a pretty extended move. And that usually means it needs to come back down to earth. And you kind of saw that kind of come in today. So that is somewhat within reason. It can hold that 8 EMA all the way up. That would be a reasonable growth projection, even on a momentum heavy driven stock. Because again, if we zoom out on this sucker, again, this has been seeing a kind of a flurry of swings higher in the last year or so. So be very mindful of that. Speed Racer, yeah. Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Anyway, okay, stop. Hey Ken, when is Chamath SoFi going public to purchase? And do you have any idea on how much the IPO will be? So, Pokey New Jack, it's the IPOE is the SoFi, the potential move of the company that they are taking public with. So, from what I've read and what's out there, they're trying to get the deal closed by the end of March. That's all I know. How much is it going to be worth? We'll have to look at more. I am looking to try to do an in-depth video on IPOE because it is a position that I have currently in my portfolio. Nothing substantial, but it is something that I'm interested in, especially for a very long-term hold because of the whole suite of things that SoFi really offers. Ben, Ken, you should be on those standing up more often. You're much more animated on your feet. I guess I am because again, I have to move around a lot more. Again, my doctor's orders to get more blood flow. Tell my fat butt to sit in my chair all day. Johnny says, what are your SPACs that are pre-merger that you have? What are some SPACs that are pre-merger and have not yet acquired? Are you talking about what I have? So I'll be very honest. I have positions in all the Chamath stuff. I own PSTH, but I've owned that since like $23. And I own RTP as well. RTP actually just moved a little bit today. Again, this is looks like I have a small position on this account here. Do I have it? I don't think so. It's only 75. Fill and show orders. RTP, again, this is a very small one. I think I got added to it. I'm looking to add to it. With this being said here, anything can happen. The reason I chose some of those stocks is because those are the folks that, again, especially RTP, Redvent Technology Partners is basically the guy from LinkedIn, Reed Hastings. No, Reed Hastings, right? Reed Hoffman. I always get the two mixed up. Mystery arc rival turned long lost brother. Exactly, Racer X. I love it. Johnny's asking if there's a pullback in SPY. Who knows? With SPY, I know this looks really insane, this kind of color here, but this is looking at, let me kind of dim these lower here 1 second. Background a little lower. There we go. How do I make this default? All right. SPY. So what are we looking for SPY? It's trying to hit 400, honestly, Johnny. I don't think that we're going to see any kind of pullback until we hit 400, potentially. With that being said, we're pretty much, and some people are saying, a very intense super cycle or like a a super cycle, bull cycle of really seeing the markets go higher because of it could be a number of combinations of, hey, the Fed is printing money. Hey, the Fed has interest rates at zero, basically. And it's literally just giving every single opportunity to someone to really, the larger companies to really flourish and really kind of kick higher from those ranges here. With the S&P 500 closing at all-time highs, something to be very well aware of. And I think it's not going to be something that I want to go crazy, go short on. Like, it's very difficult. I do terrible, honestly, Johnny, on shorting markets. And I don't like to call tops. And I don't like to call bottoms. I like to trend follow. So once the SPY starts closing below the 34 EMA, so currently if it starts going down to like 380, then I start taking things off the table, maybe selling calls against my positions and things like that. That's the way I kind of position myself in the market. Johnny is asking us about CLOV Chamath under attack. Yeah, see that's the thing. Like, it's so hard to, like, the short reports could be damaging, but at the same time could really kind of, as you can see, the stock did take a hit here because, again, when the report came out, I believe it came out in here. It's gapping down, still kind of going lower. I don't know. Again, the 8 has crossed to the 34 EMA, so that's not really a big a fan of that as well. So we definitely could easily see it come back down to some support levels around 11.50 to even down to the below $11 completely with Clover Health here. With that being said, it is I like the way Tastyworks does it. Again, this is the platform I used to trade. It says it's hard to borrow, which means it's not meaning it's on a short squeeze like you saw with GME kind of such scenario, but it's hard to find shares to kind of get to go lower. So there is like an overwhelming a negative sentiment potentially on the stock. That doesn't mean it has to go lower, but it has been beaten up and it hasn't really shown any resilience from those jabs. So it is still kind of pulling back here in a range here. So we zoom here a little bit longer, closer, enhance. We are seeing it kind of start trying to base here. I want to kind of see it hold maybe 2 to 3 weeks in around that $12 range. If it does, it has the chance to hold at that range though. Tesla is asking from Butts. Yeah, love me some Tesla. Let's see here. I really want this to work, please. Oop. I don't know what's going on with the old Tastyworks here. Thanks for him. Okay, yeah. So Tesla works for Thinkorswim here. I like this one. Again, if you know, I'm a Tesla bull. It is kind of making maybe a double short-term bottom here around $788, $785 to be a little bit more precise. That doesn't mean it has to hold. If you look at what Tesla has done the past literally 75 days, it has gone up 118%. So pullback even down to 750 to 722 would be perfectly natural. It is a little bit more aggressive here. It just needs to take a break here. I think we're gonna really need to take a break, recharge the batteries, no pun intended here, and maybe see that kick higher to break above $900 there. TSM, great. Love me some TSM as well. TSM making another all-time high this week. What can I say about TSM? This is really just a superstar in the market, let's be honest. With being such a superstar in the market, it is really breaking out at some very high paces here. I know that Kathy Wood loves it. I know its last earnings that kind of had, it was a little bit mixed. But again, that 21 EMA, I cannot say this enough, on this particular chart has been such strong support here. A little bit slightly elevated here, not substantially elevated, but if it does have a pullback, we're going to be looking for some initial support coming in around the 133 to 132 level. But again, that 21 EMA is going to be looking for the 128. So I need to actually move this back up here. So basically around that 127 to 128 to potentially see that to be looking at for some potential support there. Christopher, you do love those lawsuits, don't you? Jonathan is asking for Helion. I can never pronounce that company. Yeah, this one, even though like you saw like Workhorse and Ride really kind of recover from their overall downtrend, this has not. And this has really just very much been beaten down here. It has not gone above the 200 EMA in a while here. We talked about that $21 range really being a potential level to kind of break. It has not. It has kind of poked up there, but then come right back down. Even closing down 9% today doesn't mean that is definitely something to be mindful about. It has some support here around $16 to $15 at the downside, but it's not really my favorite kind of stock because again, it's below the 200 EMA. There's a lot more better plays for me out there. JD, thank you for the $2, my friend. If CCIV merges, you think it will reach Tesla? I don't know what you mean by that. Will it reach Tesla? So I think if you watch the CEO speak on what they're trying to do, I believe what Lucid's trying to do is they're doing the same model, kind of how Tesla did, where they are like, hey, listen, we're going to start with the higher end market and make super ultra luxury cars for people who want to get into the EV space that are in the same market to buy a BMW 7 Series. They're in the same market to buy a Audi A8, A7, the higher end Audi models, luxury cars, or they're looking for a Mercedes Benz S-Class. Like they're trying to go after that market initially. They're not going to try to go after Ken who drives a Toyota or things like that. So it's not going to be something to be in that same ballpark in the sense of Tesla. I think they're definitely could potentially compete on the Model S's and their I think it's called the Air. Is it the Air or something like that? Their car on the sense of like maybe trying to compete with the higher upscale, more affluent people with a little more discretionary cash to purchase a car like that. Who knows? We'll see what happens. It's always good to have competition in the market, without a doubt. It makes companies better, so it really brings the winners to the top, and it really sinks out the losers really fast. So we'll see on how that one plays out in the open market. So. And that's what capitalism does the best within the market. Let's see here. Adrian, Lucid is missing Elon Musk, so I don't think they can catch up with Tesla. The thing is, too, like I want people to understand of like, hey, Tesla, you have to think of Tesla and SpaceX kind of the same thing. So Tesla's really going to be trying to come out with models that have a special SpaceX, literally the technology that's in a Tesla is like the same kind of technology that they shot people into orbit too. So just to remember that. Racer X, I think it's a great way to put it. Saying, hey, Lucid and Nano won't catch up to Tesla, but they will bring the competition level to somewhat par. QS is began picking up momentum. Yeah, I saw that. I own a little bit of it here on the $40 range. It has finally broken above here, but it hit that parabolic dot today. I thought it would break above that 50 to maybe run even hotter here, but it really wasn't able to kind of substantially pick up from those ranges there. A lot of volume did come in today, so that was always a good sign on seeing that really kind of potentially kick higher here. Again, really want to see a break up here, potentially even run up to 62, which was my initial target for that. I need to raise up my targets here, actually. Please move up, thank you. Replace, and move that down here. There we go. So that basically with QS, yeah, definitely has some potential more movement to go there. I hope so. Again, very EV SPAC, not SPAC, EV battery company over there. Glenn is asking for HCMC. Wow. Okay. Nothing that I can really comment on that one, my friend. That is well below even a penny. So Godspeed on that one, my friend. I'm sorry. I won't really be able to help you with that one, Glenn. That is not, I don't touch those with a 10-foot pole. I'm sorry. Kev T's asking for Microsoft. There we go. Microsoft. I love me some Microsoft, Kev T. This thing hasn't been talked about very much. It's been very much kind of range bound. Its last earnings really took it higher here and broke to that 140, 243 range, which is a Fibonacci number. If we can get that momentum to continue carrying us higher, we're going to be looking for 255 for to be the next level for the old Microsoft. And again, this is not the old Microsoft with that sales guy. What was his name? Was it not Bauer? Oh, what was his name? I forget. Anyways, you know who I'm talking about. There's a big... Now it's Satya Nadella, which is a fantastic technology individual. He's fantastic. JD, you're welcome, my friend. Thank you for the $2, my friend. If you love Clubhouse, definitely check out Argo. Thank me later. I used Space. Have you used Space? It's kind of similar to Clubhouse. JD says, if CCIV reaches $200, I'm selling my shares and buying a Lucid vehicle. Yeah, you could, right? Depending on how much you have. How do I start investing? You buy a stock that you know and like. Roland One DMTK says, thank me later. Roland One, I purchased just a handful of shares just to kind of keep it on my radar. That thing moved like crazy. I purchased it yesterday. Not Bill Gates, the other guy, the bald dude that was the sales dude. What was his name? Balmer. Yeah, there we go. Was it Balmer? Let's look at NNDM. Yeah, let's look at NNDM. I haven't looked at that one for a little bit. Let's see that one lows. NNDM, of course, this one again, 3D printing, Cathy Wood, ARC, very much a rocket ship going to the upper right-hand side of the charts here. Getting a little chop here the past week or so, not really seeing that crazy growth that we've seen last coming months. Maybe a little bit people walking on eggshells, moving their money somewhere else. They've taken their profits. They're going on to the next shiny object over here, or they're going over here to buy cryptos, whatever. I think this is definitely nothing too substantially going on here to see. With that, I see this potentially, if it does come back down, we're going to be looking for initial support around $14, which is again the 21 EMA there. Thank you, Kev T and Matthew. Adrian, what do you feel about PLTR for next week? I have a big, large position. I have a large position in PLTR as well, but it is a very low cost basis of nearly $9. So I like it there. That being said, PLTR for the week is expecting a move around $6. So $6 move could easily try to put it back up to that level, around a level of overhead resistance around that $36 to $37. That is definitely something that to look out for. It is very heavily elevated here on the IV. So again, not like excuse me, like a Wall Street bets like crazy short-term play. But yes, I think it definitely, if people actually watch the demo day, which I think I pulled up the YouTube video and no one has watched it. How many views does it have? It didn't have much of anything. Where was it? I remember I just saw a bunch of other YouTubers comment about it. But it wasn't very much heavily viewed like you think it would be. That being said, I do like it. I think it's a very long-term investment for me. So just be very mindful of that. I don't know how long you're looking for to hold it. If it does pull back, we're going to be looking for some initial levels. It's basically around the 50-day, which would be around the $28 to $30 level. So if we do get a pullback there. If it pulled back even further, we're looking for 26 to 24. But that really level we need to kind of the break above is 40. Racer X asking for TSNP flat week overall. It's a bit blockchain play SPAC for this is a SPAC. SPACs don't usually start at $10. This is a crazy looking play here. It looks like I did some numbers on this before. Like, what was I doing on this? How am I pulling numbers off this? When did I pull? This is insane. Looking at this theoretically, this has some support around $1.28 here. Wouldn't consider this strong support. It's on the hourly chart, but again, this thing has literally run up from 50 cents to nearly $2 in a very short period of time. So it definitely has to keep that momentum up if you want those prices to continue to go higher with continuous buying going in. Can we look at PLBY? What is that? Of course, it doesn't load. Let me pull it up over here. PL. Is this a SPAC? What is this? Let me zoom out here. Yeah, it definitely looks like a SPAC. It has been holding at 34 EMA, which is that orange line here. Just continue to grind higher here. So that is a pretty healthy, continuously trend here. The only thing that's a little bit concerning, the RSI and the stochastic has kind of been selling off because the last 2 days have been a drop from really $15 to $12, but it kind of did stay above the 34 EMA here. So that is a fairly good sign. I'm going to write it down here because I know you brought up Rocket to me and now you're bringing up this one. I have no idea what this does. It looks like it's Playboy or something. The ticker symbol. They're coming back. Yeah, thank you for bringing that one there. How do I get the IV to show on toss? That's an indicator I had on there. Johnny, just send me a Discord link and or a message, and I can ping you the that information if you want it, or I can put it into the YouTube membership link as well if people want that. DD is also 3D printing. Yes, they have been very, very, very doing very well. SNDL, very much just crazy plays, and please don't spam, dude. That is not cool, man. Not cool. Please don't do that. Can I make a GT? I want to make you. You're around here still. I'm gonna make you a moderator. So that is that. Yeah, we talked about SNDL quite a bit already. It's Playboy's new SPAC. Are you serious? Oh, that's hilarious. What do they even do? Do they still sell mag? I don't even want to know. I don't know if I should Google that. Who's holding SBE? Yeah, SBE kind of came off here a little bit. I had a couple hundred shares of this. I had an alert to it shook me out a little bit. Didn't sell whole position, but it did shake me out a little bit. This again, it did close below the 30-40 MA. It's been very shaky here, but it did rebound towards the end of the day pretty well. So if we go into a very short time frame of like why is it 12 minute on here, like a 15-minute chart into today, we really saw it pretty substantially. This doesn't really do, this chart does not do it justice. Let's just do 1 day. There we go. And really saw it kind of come in today and really just kind of not really do much of anything. Really like to see this to potentially, let's see here, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year. There we go. Yeah, looking here at the daily chart, I think it still looks fairly strong here. That being said, it's just kind of been trading sideways, just kind of just taking on water here a little bit. Doesn't mean it's going to come sinking down, but I think it does have. I think I got an email or someone pinged me saying there was like 4 or 5 new SPACs that are also doing the same kind of technology that SBE is doing, and of course with the potential very large infrastructure deal that the President Biden will be pushing out is really heavily supporting of that. Yeah. Ken, why do you not deal with less than a penny stock? Glenn, penny stocks for my basis is I got fat hands and I'm slow. So being in penny stocks, you really have to watch it very closely, and there isn't that much news about it. And it's a little bit too fast moving for me, and I honestly feel like it's a little bit too manipulative for me. Especially, I normally don't like too many stocks under like $2 or $3, even $5 or below, because of some of the manipulation stuff I've seen as being a trader for many years, especially around that time frame. But that doesn't mean that it's not a good companies. It's just sometimes what the stock does doesn't really reflect what the company's doing, if that makes sense. I was looking for boards. Last play, ATV Gas is an AI play, 10x 30 days, right up to the. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a penny stock, and I think if Tastyworks doesn't even let me show it, it's not going to be a stock in my category. Yeah, it's not even a stock in my category. We talked about CLOV a couple times already. Again, this thing has kind of sold off due to the short reports we talked about and all the kind of the fun stuff that we've seen with Chamath's kind of IPOs. Really, we would want to see some earnings coming out from this and really seeing to kind of create a place where they can really answer these questions and kind of like, hey, is your business model really just fully Medicare Advantage? Is there a active Department of Justice investigation going on? Blah, 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 all the other stuff that they were trying to look at for. Flintstone fingers. Yes, I'm Barney Rubble. Ryan will not let me live that down. I think he went to bed already. Let's see here. INNV been good. They have version 2 been released next month with orders for Walmart in queue. I have no idea what that is. INNV. It's definitely a penny stock because I cannot look for it. Yeah, there's nothing much I can add to this. There's nothing going on there. That's insane. Yeah. Interesting one to say the least. It's weird that the data is not even showing up here. That's really silly. I'm going to do a couple more, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'm going to head to bed. Again, thank you everyone for coming out for the live stream. Sir, I really enjoy your videos and your info. It's helped me a lot. What's your view on LAIX? LAIX. Wow. Very much a FOMO, but really large potential hockey stick here. With that being said, it's kind of coming back down to earth here with, again, hitting 1165. No idea what this company does. But wow, it came right back down to the 8 EMA here. So if we really hold this 8 EMA to go higher here, that's going to be kind of creating that momentum trade here. So if as long as it stays above this 8 EMA, which is basically around $3.33, that trend can still continue to go higher from those ranges there. James Scott says, does shorting create a potential increase in price if CRTM is being shorted? I've heard that too many rumors needs the voice of reasons. I don't know what this stock is. So the way you see people short the stock, so people have to actually, when you short something, you have to actually borrow. That's why you have to pay a premium. Sometimes you have to pay a premium on letting someone that you're basically shorting against someone actually owns the stock. So usually you can only hold those for X amount of time or with whatever the brokerage charges you for interest on it. With that being said, if the price continues going higher, you would have to buy back that stock since you're selling it. So let's say you sold it at the Fibonacci level at $1.22, and the stock continues to climb and hit $1.90, and your broker's like, hey, you need to have X amount of money left in your brokerage account to cover any really ramp up move higher. Since it's a penny stock, I don't know how brokerage firms really classify this one. But that being said, this is easily definitely something that shorting it normally doesn't create. I think a lot of people too get confused with the GME stuff. Doesn't mean if a short float is like with GME was above 100, that should not have ever happened. But short float of 5 to 10% is normal. It's just for some stocks, depending on that. Okay, another spammer here. Okay, thank you very much. I'm new to this. Put a lot of money on ONCG. So Lawrence, I put a lot of money on OCNG. I don't. It's not popping up on my screens. Let me see if it pops on Tastyworks. It's not popping up on either. Is that a Canadian stock or is that a US based stocks? I don't know this. It's not popping up on any of my charts. JD is asking for ZOM. Are you talking about for the ticker symbol ZOM, or are you talking about ZOOM? Okay, it looks like you're talking about this one. This looks pretty insane in the membrane. Has it move higher, kind of consolidates. Potentially, if we get this move higher, this could consolidate. It could come back down to $2.20, and that would be just fine. JD. With that being said, we've seen this kind of pattern kind of play out here a couple times here, and really seen this kind of trade sideways. I don't think things don't honestly always repeat; they rhyme. So with this being said, we could easily see these kind of maybe create like a flag pattern here, or like just a consolidation pattern here around that 273 to 250-ish level, and maybe try to kick the next level higher from there. With that being said here, if the momentum wants to continue, again, we're looking for that 5 and 8 moving averages here. And if that momentum can continue carrying us higher, that's what we're going to have to be looking for, especially on that kind of chart like that. OCGN. OCGN. Okay, there it goes. Okay. That being said, yeah, this thing, yeah, I remember we talked about this one a couple weeks ago on the live stream. With that being said, we talked about this live stream a couple times before. Completely gone parabolic here. I don't know what this company does. This is an insane kind of movement here with such a large gap up into the week here. We are kind of holding again. This really comes into the 5 and 8 moving averages. If you want to play these heavy stock twits, Wall Street bets kind of driven stocks, these are the 5 and 8 moving averages you have to kind of follow through and kind of see potentially to see if you can kind of get if that momentum can continue to carry you higher. Technically speaking, that first level support is going to be coming around $9.11. If we do get a pullback, we're going to be looking for some support coming in substantially around $6.20. For the levels that break higher, you can kind of see it has not really broken above 13 substantially. So 13 to maybe ramp up to 20 would be the levels we'll be looking for. Again, very difficult to look at these levels due to the fact of it is a momentum trade, and these things can skyrocket higher, but they also can come crumbling down like an earthquake. Johnny, I see AAPL at 4.1 at February 13th. Yeah, Apple has been lagging, and it's kind of drooping in the overall market. But that being said, it's been holding the 21 EMA pretty well here. The 21 to 34 EMA, as I like those two zones. That is definitely a chance where I like to add to it. To kind of hit C241. What's the week? You said the next week is going to hit the 241. So the move for the next week is $4. So that might be kind of pushing it. You're kind of on the outskirts of that. That definitely could happen without a doubt. But just be very mindful of like, hey, that movement that's really on the cusp, on the outskirts of the move. Not saying it can't happen, but I'm just saying you're kind of, it's a short-term bet, and you're kind of hurting yourself twice because it's a short-term bet and you're betting somewhat out the expected move. But if you are right, you will be rewarded for it. Oh, it does pet medicine, and it's rocketing up on pet medicine. God bless you. Can we look at GSAT? Yeah, we'll look at GSAT a couple times. Of course, this is one that we talked about in the Discord a bit. Some of the folks, Ryan and I believe David, has talked about it. Not 241. I'm sorry, 141. So sorry. This is what I meant, Johnny. I'm sorry. I'm getting really tired here. So 141. So if we looked at here, the expected move for the week, for next week is $4 for the options move here. And then if I go to the chart, okay, it closed at 135 here. So if I add $4 to that, that would make it 139. So you're basically $2 outside of the expected move. So looking here on the options chain itself, you can see the 141 call is going for around 25 to 27 cents. There is a lot of open interest there, but of course, with theta and the overall decay, we're seeing that really kind of already sell off here a little bit. So Apple would really have to move next week for you to really kind of get that back into the profit zone there. And then GSAT was basically looking for, again, very heavy momentum, just driven by that momentum FOMO trade. Really looking for that 5 and 8 to kind of continue here. Looking for some support to the downside around 188 level. Thank you, RacerX, aka brother. Appreciate it. Sorry I don't cover too many of your penny stocks though. PSTH holders is where we've been holding for. Yes, PSTH has crazy premium on it. That being said, I hope they pick a fantastic company because people are really hyped on it, and I own stock in it, so I hope it pays out as well. But my stock has been fortunate enough that I got it at a very discounted. I bought it way when it first was announced. That being said, looking at Etsy, I missed this one. I missed this one so bad. This thing has been very beautifully trading. Ever since this consolidation that we saw back in that November timeframe, it's just been a complete rocket ship here, holding that 34 to 21 EMA and just continuously rocking higher here. Maybe kind of showing some overall resistance around 240 to 239. If we do get a pullback in the short term, we're going to be looking for some support around 225. And then if that doesn't hold, we're going to be looking for the 21 EMA, which we've seen it multiple times, kind of hitting that level to kind of bounce off here. Ben, what's another good animated car show besides Speed Racer? I can't even think of one on top of my head. GTFO, yeah, I love Tesla and Disney. Yes, I think you know that. Let's talk about NIO, then we'll go to Tesla, then we go to Disney. NIO, I like NIO here. I'm selling some. This is not like a long-term position for me. I'm just selling some premium on this on the put side. So meaning I am somewhat bullish and I want it to stay above $55 in the short term. That being said, we have earnings coming out the 1st of March. We've had a little bit of overhead resistance around that $62.25 to $63 range and kind of been pulling back once we try to hit those levels. So kind of hitting those kind of barriers there. That being said, but if as long as it stays kind of range bound, it's going to be maybe getting an earnings run. So if that earnings run kind of kicks in and we get an overall bullish sentiment, we can easily see this break up to 65 for a run there. Tesla, of course, as well. Tesla, love me some Tesla. It has been pulling back here a little bit. Nothing substantial pulling back here. It just hasn't been grinding higher like it has been for the past 70 days. Again, from this low here, from once it was announced to the S&P 500 to here, it has had a move of only 118 to nearly 120% in 70 days. So it's perfectly fine to take a break here. Looking for some initial support in the short-term side around 786, but 750 to 722 could easily be met if we do get a pullback. And then Disney, of course, that had earnings as well. But again, still making an all-time high today at 193. I'm still looking for Disney to try to hit 200. That would be fantastic. With that being said, in the short term, it can show some support around 185. A stronger pullback would be around 178 to 175 ranges for some support there. All right, we'll do a couple more, and then I'm going to call it a night. Redline is probably the best animated racing movie. I need to watch that. Is it free? I have to buy it. See you later, Ben. Thanks for the $5, man. Ride. A lot of people ask about Ride. So Ride did have a little bit of a pullback today, but with Ride, I'm going to show you this chart and then Work as well. Workhorse, that is. We've reached these levels before and then kind of sold off here a little bit. If we stay above that 2630, that would be just fine. It'd be just a normal trend reversal here and just kind of holding the trends continuously. But if we start breaking this lower and start hitting to 2460 to even that lower price, that's going to be looking for a little bit of panic going on there. And then we can also look at the old Workhorse. Oh, this one as well. This thing has been a little bit differently trading here. It has broken out from those potential bases here around that $30 range. And now it's kind of like, is it coming back down to the 21 EMA? It kind of wants to because it has broken below the 8 EMA for 2 days now. And the 5 and 8 EMAs are starting to curl over as well. So the first initial support we're going to be looking for is around $33.85. Even down to around $32.15 to kind of see that potentially kind of look there. Makeshift Tesla to 1K, let's make it happen. Solo and GNS, yeah. GNUS, of course, this is one that has been talked about quite a bit. Not really a big fan here. It's just been kind of consolidating and getting a little bit of a heartbeat. Like, sadly, it really, this froth over here really kind of shook a lot of people out and got a lot of people scared. CGC, this is a marijuana company, yeah. Of course, with the stocks really flying off the rails and going really high, no pun intended, with that hitting that $53 range, again, a Fibonacci number, and coming right back down. Guess where it came to? It came right to that 21 EMA. That 21 to 34 EMA potentially could be a buy zone, so around $40 to $36 could be a level of support. Again, with a very steep downward trend like this, again, basically going from $50 one day to around $40 the next in 2 days, a little scary. Maybe want to see this kind of consolidate in around that range before I kind of jump in with two hands there. Solo, yeah, Solo, what has that one been doing? That's just been kind of, okay, this is kind of like meandering here. Not really too much. It's been holding that 21 to 34 EMA here on the chart here. Pretty strong, significant fib number around $8.26. If we do get that really push higher with volume or some kind of catalyst, we can potentially see it back up to around 11.92. Let's end on CCIV, and then we're going to call it a night, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you so very much for coming out. I really do appreciate it. We're definitely going to be doing another live stream on Sunday and potentially even Monday. And then I'll be working on some videos this weekend on some particular stocks and some options that we saw. CCIV, fantastic move today, all-time high. More or less kind of like the news kind of like buy the rumor, sell the news. So we could see this merger finally get acquired and come out with Lucid being the CCIV company that we're taking public with. Again, looking at that 5 and 8 moving averages is something that we're going to be really looking for to kind of see if this holds here. That momentum has been very strong here. It's been very supported by the 5 and 8 moving averages. That being said, we've had a pretty large shot move higher here. If we do get a push lower, we're going to be looking for that 8 EMA to kind of show us some support, even back down to the parabolic SAR dot. So basically speaking up right now, so around $33 to $31.25 is that range we're going to be looking for in those ranges. I love me some CCN. Yeah, a lot of people have been buying this. I think a lot of people have just been trading it though. So be mindful of that. Okay, guys, thank you for coming out. We had that, again, S&P 500 closed at all-time highs this week. Fantastic, right? Everyone's happy if you're a bull in this market here. Potentially for next week, what's the expected move for the next week or so is basically the February monthlies would be around $28 expected move. So we could maybe test that $4,000 range. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, definitely stay tuned. Again, we have a 3-day weekend. Again, markets are closed on Monday due to President's Day here in the United States. But again, guys, thank you so very much for coming by. Oh, I hit the wrong button. For coming by, and I really do appreciate everyone who donated. And if you haven't already, hit the like button. We also have in the comment section or the description down below a link to the Discord and some other stuff that you could help support the channel, learning stuff, whatever. Just check it out if you have the time. Hopefully we'll see you on the next live stream. Definitely would love to see you in Discord, and we'll have a lot of fun there. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.